Welcome everybody out there to Don't Pick the Scab podcast, the podcast that explores helping men over 40 heal from divorce. We entertain and search out some of the out-of-the-box solutions to healing. Today we have Olivier Mankondo, a speaker, author, weight loss, and wellness coach that specializes in plant-based diets. Welcome to the Don't Pick the Scab podcast, with the premise of connecting men over 40 with the tools and community to thrive in their divorce recovery, either before, during, or after a divorce. Check it out. It has improved his health. It has improved his life dentally, physically, mentally, and medically. He's here to talk about his journey and how he can help some of my men over 40 in their divorce recovery. Welcome to the show, Oliver. Introduce yourself, and I have a couple of questions for you.
Like you just said, my name is Olivier Mankondo. I'm a speaker, author, weight loss and wellness coach, and I've been able to really transform my life just by adopting a plant-based nutrition. And I would like really to help my brothers and sisters to be able to just do that. And that's why I became a speaker and I became a coach to just be able to do that.
Can you share a little bit about your life before adopting a plant-based diet? What were some of the specific challenges you faced?
Yes, to explain that, I will go just a little bit back in time. So what's happened is that I'm originally from Africa. And over there, when I was growing up, we didn't have any computer games. There were no video games. So we were forced to play outside, running around, climbing trees, and playing football and all that. Yeah, which is completely different from the kids of today. And what's happened is that I was not also exposed to a lot of animal product, dairy products. So we was really always in movement. And because of that, I was very lean. I didn't have any problem and stuff. And it's just when I left my country, I went first to South Africa, where I spent a year, and then I came to the UK. And that's when my problem started. I started to put on weight because I was exposed to a lot of animal product, a lot of dairy product, a lot of processed food. And my health's really starting to be very bad. And at my heaviest, I was 220 pounds, and I was starting to suffer from high blood pressure. And people need to know that high blood pressure is a very dangerous disease because 50% of people who suffer from strokes, from cardiovascular diseases, and for problem with the kidneys, it's because of high blood pressure. I was suffering from that. I was suffering from massive headaches every day or every other day. And in fact, I had to have some painkillers in my wallet all the time because of that. I had dandruff, chest pain, back pain, abscesses, joint pain, and a lot of dental problems because I really developed a lot of bad eating habits. So, for example, until midnight, I will still have my bottle of Coca-Cola with some biscuits, some cakes, and stuff like that. And I would say
Wow.
every 2 to 3 months, I had to see the dentist. And I was always tired. For example, on the day that I had to go to work, I will drag myself out of bed. And on the day I was not working, I was basically sleeping until 1 p.m. So basically, that's how my life was before adopting a plant-based nutrition.
Okay. How did you discover the teachings of the Indian yogi that inspired your dietary shift, and what resonated with you the most?
Yes, what's happened is that when before even changing my lifestyle, I was watching him a lot of times, and basically I really trusted him. And like I said, I went to the doctors, and the doctor told me that I'll be on medication for the rest of my life, and I didn't want that, even though I didn't know what I know now. But at that time, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And the doctor asked me, okay, what are you going to do? I said, okay, I'm going to just do some martial arts. So I joined a karate club, and I was there for 4 years thinking that my blood pressure will come down, but there was no changes. And one day, just out of the blue, I was just watching a program on YouTube, and there was an Indian yogi who suggested that by stopping eating animal product, it was possible to reverse 70% of the chronic diseases. And because of that, I said, okay, I've got nothing to lose. I'll try that. So it was a Wednesday that I watched the program. On Thursday, I came back from work. I had my last meal of meat. And on Friday, I went cold turkey. And what happened is that after 4 months, after 4 months of me changing my lifestyle, I went back to the doctor who told me that I'll be on medication for the rest of my life and my blood pressure was completely gone. And after 9 months, I was able to lose 77 pounds. And as you can see, this is me, the way I used to be when I was overweight. So I
Wow.
was able to lose 77 pounds in 9 months. And all my chronic diseases completely disappeared. So I don't have any problem. My high blood pressure is gone. The problem with my headaches is gone. Bad back, everything is completely gone. And for the past 8 years, I've not been sick a single day. And for the past 9 years, I've not taken a single pill, not even aspirin or paracetamol. And on top of that, I've been able to really reverse my aging process because a lot of people, when they see me, they think that I am in my late 20s, but I'm actually 54. So that's my story.
What was the most difficult part of transitioning to a plant-based diet? What were some of the hard things to do that you came across?
Yes, to change was not actually difficult because basically when the way I've always been is that when I take a decision, I can really stick to it. So it was not difficult.
Hmm.
What was really difficult is family and friends. So people didn't really support me in the lifestyle, and people starting to really make fun of me. Some people even starting to mention that I was HIV positive because I lost a lot of weight. So that
You were
was
so
really
skinny.
what was really difficult. Yes. So that was very difficult for me. But
Wow. Support system didn't support you.
no, they didn't support me.
Wow,
They didn't
interesting.
support me.
Wow. So, what were some of the changes in your health other than high blood pressure that you noticed after switching to a plant-based lifestyle? You talk about the weight. I think bigger people carry stuff more and have more problems like joint pain, things like that. So that was all great.
Yeah. So basically, for me, I was suffering from a problem with my bones as well, my joint. So it was really a problem for
Hmm.
me. But all this completely disappeared. And I even remember that I had problem with my back, and because I was overweight, I was obese. And what's happened is that after me changing my lifestyle, those problem completely disappeared because I even remember that when I used to work, when I used to go to my old place of work, I even spent a week without going to work because my back was killing me. So all this problem completely disappeared. I was suffering from what is called again heartburn. I had heartburn as well, and
Hmm.
especially when I was eating beans. So all this completely disappeared.
Are there any plant-based, is there any plant-based things you can't eat?
No, I can eat everything. There's no, for example, the
Okay.
stuff that I eat is fruit, vegetables, legumes, grains, nuts, and seed. And I try to eat. I eat also a little bit of vegan processed food, but I try to keep that to a strict minimum. But most of my
A
food is
minimum.
whole food.
How has your journey toward health he how has your journey toward health influenced your perspective on relationships,
Yeah.
your
So
mindset?
so on relationships, what's happened is that since changing my way of eating, it says I've been able really to have a more close relationship with my wife. Been very enriching, and this was good even with my kids and all that. So it's been a very good transition, especially because they've been able to help me in this transition, and especially my wife,
Okay.
she was able to do that as well. So yeah.
What advice would you give someone who feels overwhelmed by the idea of changing their diet and lifestyle?
Yeah,
If someone's
so
thinking about doing this, what kind of advice do you give to them?
yeah, the advice that I will give them, first of all, is to be able to change their mindset because the mindset is very important. And if you don't have the right mindset, it's not going to work. So the first thing that people need to do is to adopt a winning mindset where they say to themselves that they're going to succeed. Because as soon as you tell to yourself that, oh, it's going to be difficult, I'm not going to be able to do it, I love my meat and stuff like that, then your subconscious mind will make sure that you don't succeed. You're going to fail. So you need to really you don't have to entertain the possibility that you're going to fail. You need to put that in your mind and you
Hmm.
need to really try to find your why. and not depend on the willpower, because with the willpower, it will take you so far. But if you can find a why power, which is a good reason for you to stay on track, then it's going to be easier for you to do it. And something as well is to start doing that very slowly and not to go cold turkey like me. Because what happened is that when I went cold turkey, the following week, I
Wow.
had massive detox symptoms. My problems got worse. So I had massive headaches for 3 days that I've never had in my entire life. Starting with more cold sore, my more abscesses and stuff like that. And even here at home,
Hmm.
they ask me to stop. But I say, okay, I will continue. But for most people, things like that will discourage them. That's why I really don't ask people to go cold turkey. What they need to do is to go slowly. They need to introduce the changes very slowly. For example, if they were eating animal products 7 days a week, what they will have to do, maybe they would decrease that to 5 days. So for 5 days, they will continue to eat all the stuff that they used to eat, and for 2 days, they go plant-based. So they introduce us very
So
slowly.
ease into it.
Yes.
Okay.
And then it's going to be easier for them to do that. So that's what I will really advise people when they want to start this plant-based nutrition.
What are some of the misconceptions people have about plant-based diets? Some of the things that people say that aren't true.
Yeah. So, for example, the first thing that I will say, okay, where do you get your protein from? Because most people know that you can get only your protein from the animal product and stuff like that. But what I usually ask people is that when, for example, when you look at the gorilla with whom we share 99% of the same DNA, which means that our digestive tract are practically the same. But if you look at gorillas, they eat fruit, vegetables, and tender roots. They do not eat meat.
Oh,
So when you look
correct.
at gorilla, they do not eat meat, but they are very muscular, they're very powerful. And you look, for example, at rhino, you look at elephant, you look at giraffe, you look at cows. All of them, they don't eat meat, but they still have protein. So that's where I have my protein as well. I have that from fruit, vegetables, legumes, grains, nuts, and seeds that I eat. And that's a very big misconception. So if you don't eat animal product, you will still be able to have all your protein requirement met. Another stuff as well is that when you eat a plant-based nutrition, you're going to be weak. But this is completely false, because what I've noticed is that since adopting this plant-based nutrition, my energy level is gone through the roof. Even though I'm 54, but there's nothing that I cannot do at my age that I was able to do when I was 20. And like I was saying before, in the past, I used to be very tired all the time, but now I don't even remember one day waking up in the morning and being tired. So that's a little bit of the misconception that people have.
I've got a great question for you. How do you handle social situations when food choices may not align with your plant-based lifestyle? How do you handle that?
Yeah,
Like
so
when you're going out?
usually, yeah. So especially in 2016, it was a little bit difficult, but now there's a lot of
Mhm.
vegan options, plant-based options, and stuff like that in most restaurants. But if, for example, I go to a place where there's no vegan food or plant-based food, what I will say, I'm not gonna eat. It's, for example, I remember 3 months ago, I went to Belgium to my cousin's son. He was getting married. And what happened is that when I arrived at his house, his wife didn't cook something that I was able to eat. So basically, when I went over there, I didn't have anything to eat. I just stayed like that because I'm a big proponent of fasting as well. So I was able
Mm-hmm.
not to eat on that day. But usually, what people do is that when they know that I will be coming to their house, they will ask me what I would like to eat, and I will tell them exactly the kind of food that I eat, and they will be able to prepare that for me. But usually, or for example, if I go to a party, usually you will always have some kind of salad or something like that if for me to eat.
Okay. Wow. Can you discuss any challenges you face as a wellness coach in helping others transition to a healthier lifestyle? Some of the problems you've had with people that you've coached.
Yes, the problem that with people is first of all their mindset. Usually, when they start this weight loss process, they don't have the right mindset. They think that it's going to be very difficult, and because of that, they've got problems. And that's what I always try to really work on their mindset to show them that it's possible. That they, for example, for me, when I started this process, there was no supportive community, but I was able to do that. And I tell them that I will be with you all the way through, and you will just have to really believe in yourself, and so you will be able to make it. And another big problem as well is that they don't have the supportive community. And especially, for example, if they are married or if they've got their partners and the partner doesn't do that, then it becomes very challenging for them to follow the program. So that's the problem that I'm facing when I'm doing the coaching.
How do you maintain your motivation, other people's motivation, and commitment to a plant-based diet, especially during tough times? We talked about that just a second ago, but how do you keep that motivation? Do you look down the road, say, hey, I'm going to be there. This is where I want to be. How does that work?
Yeah, so for me, like I said, you need to have a why to be able to put the why power to find a good reason for you to stay on track. And for me, what keeps me or continue to keep me on track is the fact that when I was eating like everybody else, when I was sick, I will remember, for example, when I was having the flu, I will be in bed maybe for a week or 2 weeks. I'll be in bed having lots of pain, having headaches, I will have my nose blocked because I couldn't breathe. When I was thinking just about all the suffering that I was going through when I was sick, just because of that, it will put me on track. I will remember, I will say, Olivier, you need to stay on track. You don't have to eat whatever. You have to stay on track because look, in the past, you remember the way you used to be sick, the way you were feeling and all that. And that's really what kept me motivated to continue on that track because I don't want to be sick anymore. I don't want that anymore. And like I said, for the past 8 years, I've not been sick a single day. And I would like my life
Wow, that is
to be
awesome.
that way.
What role does exercise play in your overall wellness routine, and how did it change after your dietary shift?
Yes, the exercise is very important. But when I say to people that they need to exercise, they don't necessarily have to join a gym. They can do exercises like walking, light jogging, like biking, and stuff like that. And for me, the exercise that I do is that in the morning, especially when I started this plant-based nutrition, what I will do in the morning, I will do 5 minutes of stretching exercises. I will do 5 minutes of rebounding. I will have my rebounder. I will go on it for 5 minutes. And then on Sunday, I will go for a 2-hour walk. So that's the only type of exercise that I was doing to lose all this weight. But it's very important to do exercises because when you look at the blood, for the blood to circulate into our body, we have the heart. The heart will pump the blood. But when you look at the lymphatic system, there's no pump. And the lymphatic system is the sewage system, which is very important. And to make it work in an efficient way, you need to be moving. And that's what people need to do. They need to be in movement. They need to do maybe gardening. They need to get the body moving. And that's very sad, for example, for some people who don't even want to move. They will have their food delivered to their houses and stuff like that. The physical exercise is very important for this lifestyle.
Can you share a success story from someone you've coached that particularly moved you?
Yes.
Generally.
So there was a woman. She was overweight. She had 3 kids. And she was married as well. And what happened is that she was overweight, like I've just said. She was suffering from high blood pressure, and she was diabetic. And she was already on 5 different medication. And when basically what happened is that she was very depressed because of that. She couldn't play with her kids because she was too overweight. She was always tired, and she was unable to do that. And because of that, she was very depressed. And she stumbled on my work, and we had a discovery call where we discussed a situation, and she jumped on my program. And what happened is that after working with me, she was able to reverse her diabetes, her high blood pressure. She was off all the medication, and she was able to lose 80 pounds in the course of working with me. And what happened is that now she was able to play again with her kids. And even at the last place of work, the boss was not happy with her because she was always, all the time she was calling sick and stuff like that. And she was able to go back to her place of work, and she didn't have to be sick anymore. So that was a very good case study.
do you approach the topic of plant-based eating with individuals who may be resistant to the idea? When you're doing your discovery call, you got those people who are resistant. How do you broach that?
Yes, what I will tell them, the way I will handle that is that, for example, will go through all the way they're suffering. For example, if they are overweight, they are suffering from some kind of chronic diseases and stuff. What, for example, I will tell them is that, look, let's suppose that they've got kids. I will say, okay, you've got kids, how old are they? And stuff like that. And I will ask them, do you want to see your kid growing up? Do you want them to see them getting married and stuff like that? And if they say yes, I will say, okay, the best way for you to be able to do that is to get your health in check. You need to be able to be in good health so that you can see your kids growing up, you see them getting married and all that. And when usually I tell them that, they will start thinking, because some people, they don't really go through all this way of saying things. And when I will tell them that, and they will be able to see that, oh, this is true what I'm telling them. And as well, when you go through, for example, if you want to continue to follow that, they want to continue to follow their way of eating, their way of being, their lifestyle. What will happen is that they will be continue to be sick and all that. And this, if they happen to go on a plant-based nutrition, it's going to save them a lot of money in the long run, because of they will not have to buy all their medication. They will have to so it's going to save them a lot of money in the long run. So I try to show them all these angles to show them that this is the best way for them to be able to live a disease-free life.
Yeah. What do you wish more people understood about the connection between diet and chronic diseases?
Yeah, so what I would like people to understand is that the physical body is not silly. Because people think that, for example, they've got a disease, they've got this and that, which doesn't work in their bodies, and they think that the body is silly, the body doesn't is doing whatever. But what people need to understand is that whatever you put in your system, that's what you will become. So if you eat garbage, you'll have garbage out. So garbage in, garbage out. That's what people need to understand. Is that it's like, for example, if you've got your car, let's say your car need to work with diesel, and you put petrol in it, it's going to start to malfunction.
Yep.
And later on, during the life of the car, it's going to have problems and stuff. And maybe one day the engine will stop, and it's going to be good for the scrapyard. And it's exactly the same with us. So when you eat the wrong food, basically what you will have, your body will not start to work in an optimal way. And the simple way to see that is, for example, if you look at animals who live in the forest, they eat a specific species diet, and you will see that most of the time that they spend in the forest, they are not sick, because even in the forest there's no vet over there. But when you look at the animals who live around us, because we don't give them the food biologically designed for the system, you will see a lot of overweight cats, overweight dogs. You will see dogs with cancer. You will see dogs who become blind and stuff like that. So what people really need to understand is that the connection between the food that we eat and the disease that we get. But because it doesn't happen straight away, people don't understand that. And what I will have to add as well is that when you entertain negative emotions, most of the time as well, it will have a very bad impact on your system. Or if you are always under stress, what will happen is that your body will start producing adrenaline and cortisol in excess. Adrenaline will mess up your heartbeat. Your heart will start beating irregularly, and the cortisol will impair your immune system. And when your immune system is impaired, you'll be open to any kind of diseases. And as well, when you don't control what you put on your skin and on your hair, this will also affect your being. So that's what people really need to understand, the connection between the lifestyle that you have and the disease that you will suffer from.
How has your experience with health and wellness shaped your views on aging and longevity? You said that there was a definite connection.
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, when you start eating the food biologically designed for the human mechanism, what will happen is that, first of all, your body will not have to produce a lot of energy to digest the food. And because of all the enzymes, the phytonutrient that you find in fruit, vegetables, legumes, grain, nuts, and seeds. Your body will be able to absorb a lot of all these nutrients, the vitamins, and stuff like that. But for example, when you eat the processed food, which are full of refined sugar, what will happen is that your body will have to produce a lot of insulin, and especially if you eat constantly, so frequently you have something to eat, your body will have to produce insulin. And when you have peaks of insulin, what will happen is that it's going to produce cellular aging. And when it produces cellular aging, what will happen is that you're going to age very quickly and you will basically die quicker. So what people need to understand is that when you eat a lot of food with refined sugar, it's going to age you very quickly. And for example, when you look at me, eat mostly plant-based nutrition, and I've been able to really reverse my aging process. And a lot of people can do that as well, just by eating the food biologically designed for the human mechanism.
What is your ultimate goal in sharing your story and impact? What impact do you hope to make on other people's lives?
Yeah. So what I would like really people to understand is that when we get older, and especially for your people in your audience with their men over 40, what I really want to drive to people is that when we grow older, we don't have to be sick the way we've been told. We've been told that, okay, when we grow older, we need to be sick, and that's normal. But that's not normal, because what we put in our bodies will determine if we will be sick or not. And that's really what I want my message. That's the message that I would like to convey to people, that when they grow older, they don't have to be sick. As long as they eat the food biologically designed for the human mechanism, they entertain positive emotion most of the time. They look at what they put on their skin and their hair. They will be able to live a disease-free life. So being sick is a choice. People don't have to be sick, and that's really the message that I would like to convey to people.
Well, all right, Oliver. My men have a 30-minute attention span.
Yeah.
But I appreciate your time, man, calling in from the UK. Let the people out there know how to get a hold of you on the internet. And I'll have it in the show notes too.
Yes, if people would like to get hold of me, what they will have to do is to, first of all, I would like to give your viewers or your listeners my 7 tips to lose weight. That the exact same 7 tips that I've used myself to be able to lose 77 pounds. And I would like to give them free of charge so that they can kickstart their wellness journey. And for people who would like to buy my book, because I've got my book, which is The Plant-Based Nutrition, How It's Going to Change Your Life, which is available on Amazon. And people can get that over there, or they can go on my website, which is oliviermankondo.com. That's oliviermankondo.com, and they can get that over there. On my website, it's less expensive. And on top of that, they will be able to have 4 more bonuses. And for people who would like to get this deeper, they can book a discovery call with me. And on the discovery call, they will be able to discuss their diet history and have a look at the current lifestyle, including the routine and the habits. And we will also going to work together to identify any limitation and change them so that we can create a plan of action that overcomes this limitation and set them on a path toward achieving the short and long-term goals. And also during the call, we're going to establish if there's a good fit. And if that's the case, then there will be an opportunity for us to work together so that we can address all these issues, all the issues that have been bothering them for a very long time.
All right, Oliver, I appreciate your time. Hold on the mic here. We're going to go ahead and sign out, but stay on the line. And I appreciate your time. We tell everybody out there to have a good night.
Okay, thank you very much.
Here.